So we do need to get rules of finance, rules of trade, and rules of tax, global rules, to work for developing countries if we are going to come out of a health crisis and an economic crisis. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. I saw there was a hand here, and then there was also a hand there. So if we can get mics to both of the participants so we can do rapid-fire questions. We have about 6 minutes left for questions from the audience.
Thank you very much. My name is Sheila Patel. I represent Shack Dwellers International, which works with urban slum dwellers in 33 countries. I want to give you a message from poor women in urban areas, but I have many friends in rural areas too. We know that real health delivery, sir, is at subnational level. And I want to know whether all of you see value in leapfrogging into involving your populations in promotive health. You know, it's taken us so long to acknowledge that preventive health is important. But in today's world, where along with pandemics and debt and disease, we're also dealing with climate change. And as many people as you said were affected by famines are being affected with poisonous fast food and are facing chronic diseases at a level with which people in India and China, we know with studies, there's a huge volume of people at very young ages getting chronic diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, and even children diabetes because they're eating white carbohydrates and fried food, which are poisonous.
Thank you.
So I'm saying it's much larger than just doing specific things. And economics of that have to come into the discussion about insurance, because curative insurance is not enough.
Catherine, would you like to respond to that, or was it anyone in the panel who would like to respond to that?
Well, the only point I would make about that is that I think I agree with everyone here who talks about the importance of primary health care, and I think it's really important, but I do think that nutrition is another critical piece of this. And what we see in so many parts of the world is that children don't get proper nutrition and end up stunted. And once a child is stunted, they can never catch up, ever. So that investment early is so important on the nutrition side. And I think, to your point, you just have to make sure that children have the nutrients they need so that they grow properly, their brains grow properly. And if not, I think we just deal with a lifetime of problems.
Okay. If we can have a mic on this part of the room, two questions here, and then maybe we're going to be able to take the last question there. All right.
Hi, I'm Tripler Pell. I am a primary care doctor and trustee of the John A. Hartford Foundation. And we've talked a lot about children, but I was just wondering if you could speak to the elderly population, which was severely affected during the pandemic and will be a future problem for both developing and developed countries.
Is there a specific person that you'd like to answer that question? Or it's open to the floor?
Yeah, just if someone could comment on the aging population in terms of prevention.
All right.
I'd be happy to have a shot at that. First of all, I think when the pandemic, the elderly were clearly the population in danger, and I think that was handled well in many countries, less well in other countries, where the vaccination rate did not go up high enough into the elderly population, and thereby also protecting them, but also protecting the rest of the world. Those are things that I think we need to work out with for the next time and see how we can do that better. Otherwise, the elderly population, are the people who really cost a lot in the healthcare systems. And if you look at how much of healthcare we need when we are older compared to when we are younger, then that's clearly something that needs to be looked at. Early detection, screening efforts, all of those things actually, I think, can catch disease very early. And let me finally make a point on this balance between curative and preventive. We are trying to spend 97% of all healthcare spending in curative mode. and only 3% in prevention. Let me say that again. I think that's absolutely wrong. We seem to all agree on that, and every panel I go to, we agree on that, and then we go home and do nothing. So I think we really would want, as an outcome of this panel, to do something real there.
Okay. Second last question from Hannah's penultimate question.
Hi, my name is Silvana Sinha. I'm the founder of Brava Health in Bangladesh, which is a technology pioneer here at the World Economic Forum. Our company offers integrated outpatient care. We're a private healthcare provider. So my question is about the role of the private sector and how we create more incentives for investment in the things that we're all saying that we need, including primary care and quality diagnostic testing. My company has raised $12 million to get to the point that we've served 360,000 patients, but we have no institutional funding because there are no institutional investors that are investing in my sector.
Okay.
I'd like to take that. So at the moment, the primary incentive that the private sector responds to, and challenge me please, is really the availability of financing and de-risking some of the activities that they would be active in. And this goes for not only the pharmaceutical industry, but also private sector that runs clinics and things around the world. And I think we need to definitely change that to make sure that companies and private sector also recognize that there is a societal need and a social license to operate in these markets. And that combination is basically what needs to come in play in order for people to understand it as financial and non-financial incentives that need to be put in place.
All right, last question from the floor. Last brief question from the floor.
We'll make it brief. Thank you, everyone. Very interesting feedback. My name is Andhra. I'm a physician practicing in the US, a physician in chief for oncology for a large statewide system in New Jersey. And in the last minute that we have, I just want to raise a question and maybe have your comments, that how we build up, part of resilience, we need to build the trust and rediscover trust of the public into our healthcare system, particularly with discordant messages, even within healthcare providers sometimes, of what to do best, particularly in a pandemic. That was something very important. So, thank you.
Last shot at that question.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I think it's spot on. I mean, building back trust means performing and making sure that as an industry or as a government, you're delivering on your commitments. So if you don't deliver on your commitments, then you lose trust. And that's basically the situation we're facing right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you to our audiences. Thank you to our audience for raising thought-provoking questions, and thank you to our panel for answering them so well and really taking a look at what we need to do in terms of policies, practices and partnerships to strengthen health system sustainability and resilience now and in the future, and sharing your experiences. I think what's come out is the importance of primary health care, collaboration with sectors, the importance of prevention and innovation, and getting ready for whatever may come. It's been a pleasure facilitating this conversation. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.